Or can you become incognito? I'm going incognito.
I am going incognito.
Who doesn't have their mask smile?
Me.
Ellen.
Good on your microphone. You are good. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 2 3. Check.
Is this yours? The Principles of Public International Law?
It is emphatically not, because I am the law. Why would I need a book?
It's like. Yeah, but look like they're red. Yeah, it does look like.
That's my law book. Because I'm looking through it to see if there's any law.
Oh, that's your law.
Everybody has to wear a tutu. Gotta be you. That's right. That's right. I knew you said something. I knew it.
Oh, thank you very much. Props back to 1. Props back to 1, please. Where do we need the instruments?
Well, you have to hold that
Beautiful
side.
sunglasses.
So maybe you can put it
I'll keep it over here.
under the chair, maybe?
I'll keep it right here.
This goes here.
Have you got your
Is that box empty?
Yes.
It was full before.
You know, so you know you're getting your microphone after Rocky uses it.
Okay.
I just need to remember there's no skins.
Rocky?
I think we can do this like this.
You don't have to go.
Your mic is right here.
Should I just go across the stage?
You know.
Go like that?
You hate them because you don't know where they are.
Not only that, but it distorts the sound,
Oh, well.
You'll be standing.
and I don't like it.
Very
They're
unprofessional.
watching.
And I'm gonna step away so you'll be on your own. Oh, no.
Wait,
Okay, I'm good.
yeah, I'll just tell Rabbi Heidi I'm just
He's not into this stuff, huh? He's doing it because he loves his wife.
He's also a theater person.
What better reason is there?
Bob and I are the spout, the drag along spouses for this production.
Well, I see.
Mike, yeah.
There's a,
Yeah.
yes, and I have other things I need to be doing at the same time, so it's a challenge.
Good.
Juggling.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you want to bring it from across, from the other side of the stage?
You're ready to
Put it on there, put it where you want it.
World best survey ever.
That's right.
Yeah, you present her with a crown belt.
That's you with That's funny. That's funny.
So where did you Where did you have it? Like right here. So you don't have to bend this way.
True. So, how far forward do I have to go when I start talking to them?
Right where you are is fine.
Right where I are is fine?
So you can, so the only thing, Debbie, is to feel for where it is.
Yeah.
And just make sure you're facing it. So it's right there. You don't have to move it or anything, but it's like,
Okay, and then back up. So.
you don't have to back up, just, what you don't want to do is lean in.
Oh,
If you
no.
lean in, you're gonna,
I know, it's gonna be worse.
yeah.
It'll overmodulate everything.
Like season one, scene one, scene two, right?
Yeah.
Hold it a little higher, because we just walk down there, the people in the back.
Right.
So just hold like a little, like.
So she can
about
pull
this
my
high.
hair
This
and
high.
drag
See what-
me out of here. Thank you.
You mean hold it so that the people behind you first.
Yes.
So what you can do is
Yeah, I'll just do like
just
that.
turn and walk over.
Round one.
Okay, that can go. Move.
I like his shirt. This is how it rolls.
You said this is,
This is how I roll. That is this.
oh, I see what's on, I didn't see what it has underneath.
Oh,
Nice, the lots. No, I thought it was a, yeah, it's a drape.
all right. This is not making me happy. Okay. I won't.
Oh, for scene 7, I'm just gonna shoot it to
Okay, Ellen is not using her tube. Do you want it? I don't
So,
know. Huh? I don't know. Well, as one of the bar. How would I wear it? I put it on a little bigger.
Never mind then.
Here, hold on.
In the meanwhile, I was like anyone that's like a while later.
Yeah.
one of the bars
We're just.
All right,
You
everybody
get
ready?
to tie my mask.
Oh,
you get
Debbie's
to
still
put on
getting
this.
costumed.
Oh, look how cool this is.
What's that?
It's gonna, will it stay on? You think?
Then don't worry about it.
Okay. Is it on the on? Yeah.
Tell me what, da da da.
Should we make it higher? Oh, yeah. How's that?
But we don't want groggers quite yet. We're gonna do the, after the spiel, we'll do the groggers.
Do I wear this through the whole thing?
I think.
I don't talk about it. Oh my God. I can't do this. But,
I think there's
oh,
some out there.
yes. Let us measure.
At least that one.
Once for lunch, she was like, "Want to go out somewhere to watch it?" And it took me some, watch sports.
Take pictures, everybody.
I got a really good one.
Pictures, pictures, and wow.
All right, we're gonna start. You ready? Yeah. Everybody ready? We're gonna start. So hey everybody, welcome to the Not Quite Ready for Purim Players Spiel 2024, which is called Putting the Bar Back in Baruch Hu. It is based on an idea from our very own Yvette Pomeranz. That at the time was so hilarious that I was like, we're doing that for Purim. So we do have a custom cocktail and mocktail that you are welcome to partake of. All of the ingredients are symbolic, so if you don't like it, you can just say it's a symbol. Okay, I think it was all right. All right, so we're gonna get started. So we hope that you enjoy. Debbie, take it away.
Far away. Hey everyone, welcome to our Purim Spiel, Putting the Bar Back in Baruch Hu. Tonight, throughout the performance, you will be hearing the word bar used in many different ways, and I mean many different ways. We would like to invite you to shout L'chaim every time you hear the word bar, and that's going to be a lot of times, so you got to be listening. We're going to try this. Bar.
L'chaim!
Bar.
L'chaim!
Bar.
L'chaim!
Oh, fabulous. Okay, I think it's time we proceed.
Like to welcome you to our spiel that celebrates our Purim holiday. Who put the bar in the bar, bar? Who put the ta in the via hafta? Who put the av in the aviot? Who put the im in the imahot? We might say Elohim, but now it is Purim, a chag when God is not seen. Who put the man in the hey man? Who put the chai in the Mordechai? Who put the yes? Who put the spiel in our hacky wacky Purim spiel? Who could it be? We want to say that we are hoping that will be a great party. Who put the chaim in the drinky drink? Who put the law in the bar, de bar? Who put the height in the how high is the bar? Who did ballet at the bar, de bar? We're telling you, we took the bar from who? We'll put it back whether we are through.
It's safe to applaud. Go ahead. Isn't this the best party you've ever been to?
Oh, yes. The barbecue is absolutely delicious. But you know what would make the festivities even better?
You think it could be better?
I noticed there aren't any women here. Are they barred from your party? That seems too bad. It's just that I've heard that your queen is quite the hottie. Couldn't we see her? I'd love to admire your good taste in queens.
Servant? I want her to come to my party to show us her beauty so fair. I want her to come to my party and tell her just what she should wear.
2, 3, 4, the king wants this and nothing more.
It is an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini with her crown, that is all she should bring. An itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini, so by doing that she pleases the king.
6, 7, 8, how she answered sealed her fate.
I won't wear an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini so his friends can all ogle and stare. An itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini, he'll respect my boundaries if he still cares.
What do you mean she won't come? Everyone has to come when I summon them.
She says to show her where the law says that.
The law? What is she, a lawyer? When did she pass the bar exam? I'm the law. I'll show her. She's done. Expel her from the kingdom now. I'll show her a law. Memuchan. Memuchan.
Yes, sir.
Write this down and send it to everyone. Every man should wield authority in his home and speak the language of his own people, especially me. I notice I am by myself, although I'm quite a guy. Why on earth did Vashti leave? I'm so lonesome I could cry. Hey, servants, listen here right now. On this you can rely. Your king should never feel like this, so lonesome he could cry. Go find for me a brand new queen, unless you want to die. I never want to be again so lonesome I could cry. What are you waiting for? Go! Find me a new queen, sorry. Check the market, the city square, every bar. The perfect woman has to be out there somewhere.
Oh, yes, we're the queen contenders. We each hope that we'll be the one. We're scratch the bar, we're from near and far. Get ready to show him some fun. Oh, yes, I'm the great pretender. I've told no one that I'm a Jew. Now I'm going to be queen, and I know what that means. No tradition, no friends, just his rule.
Hey, you! What are you doing standing up? Don't you know who I am? Everyone has to bow to me, bar none.
I am a Jew. We only bow to God.
Really? We'll see about that.
Hey, you know, my friend, the insults from the king are getting worse and worse. He calls me Big Nose instead of Big Ton. He makes fun of my shoes. And just last week, he threw his dinner plate at the wall, and I had to clean up the ketchup. I made a bar graph to show how much his abuse has increased over the last few months.
I know. He pinches my cheeks all the time and says I'm cute. He taunts me that I can't grow a beard. And I made a bar graph to show how often he calls and wakes me up in the middle of the night to do something for him.
You know, we have access that other people don't have. If we get rid of him, I'll bet we'd be hailed as heroes. Everyone hates him.
What do you think? Knife or poison? We need something quiet so the guards won't be alerted.
Oh no, they're going to assassinate the king. I have to stop them. Hello? Hello? Esther? Hello? Hello, Esther? Yeah. I just overheard two of the king's eunuchs plotting to kill him. No, really, come on, just tell him. Or tell the captain of the guard. Bigtam and Teresh are their names. Wow, that was fast.
Are you Mordecai? Let me shake your hand. No need to worry about those guys anymore. They're going to spend a long time behind bars. You just saved the king. Great job. We're going to write this down in the royal record. Now that's history.
I'm going to make that Mordecai pay. I'll show him what happens when you refuse to bow to Haman. I'm going to take something from him more valuable than gold bars. I'm going to take his life. Heck, why not? The lives of all his people, too. Homicide, homicide, let's have a homicide, 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 let's have some homicides, homicide, homicide, let's have some homicides, homicide. Bum. I'm an anti-Semite, and I'll tell you why. It's as traditional as apple pie. Today I met that a-hole, Mordecai. I want to kill that guy and his friends. Homicide, homicide, let's have some homicides, homicide, homicide, let's have some homicides, homicide, homicide, let's have some homicides, homicide.
Boop, boop. That's Diane.
Your Majesty.
Huh? Yes?
There is a certain people scattered and dispersed amongst all the other peoples in all the provinces of your realm, whose laws are different from those of any other people, and who do not obey the king's laws. And it is not in your Majesty's interest to tolerate them. If it please your Majesty, let an edict be drawn for their destruction, and I will pay 10,000 bars of silver to the stewards for deposit in the royal treasury.
Well, Haman, your hatred toward these people, Jews are they? Definitely doesn't seem rational, and it seems to be affecting your facial hair, but my bar for rationality is pretty low, and I sure do appreciate the donation. Do as you please.
Yes!
Oh, my goodness. Oh no, this is bad. This is very bad. I need to talk to Esther. No one can save us, bar Esther. Esther!
What is it? What is it? You seem upset. Is something wrong? Have you been in a fight in the bar again?
What? No, I've been barred from that bar. Anyway, I didn't start the fight. Bar Kamsa started it, that mamzer. But that's not important right now. Haman has convinced the king to kill all the Jews. You have to stop him.
Me? I'm not allowed to appear before the king unless I'm summoned. And the punishment for appearing without being summoned is execution. I could die.
Yeah, well, you might, but if you don't try, You'll die anyway when the rest of us do. Don't think that being a queen will bar Haman and his mob from coming after you. Listen, I recognize that this is raising the bar for you, but your people need you now. And who knows, perhaps you have attained to royal position for just such a crisis.
I'll try.
I knew as your father figure, I could expect great courage from you, Esther bar Mordecai.
Esther but Mordecai.
Oh, I've been tossing and turning, and I just can't sleep. Oh, Memuchan.
Yes, sir.
Hit me with some bars about stuff that's happened while I've been king.
Sure. Every morning in your courtyard, without much to do, people talk and gawk and wait for a glimpse of you. Since you found Esther, who we all think is rad, someone new is out there, the guy who is her dad, Mordecai. Mordecai, 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 Mordecai. Nobody seems to know where he calls home. We know he is a Jew and they sometimes roam. That's not the point of this story, though. It's about some stuff he heard that was important to know, Mordecai. One day he had heard your servants, Teresh and Bigtan. They had grievances they thought that they would act upon to assassinate our ruler. You was their plan, and it's possible that they would have gotten their man, but Mordecai. Mordecai, 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 Mordecai. When he heard them talking, he became distressed and thought, I have to get the king out of this mess. That's when he told the captain of the guard, and Teresh and Big Plan fell apart, Mordecai. He asked for nothing, was just glad to serve, a loyal subject ready when life threw a curve. As far as I know, he's out there still. So long as Esther's here, I guess he will, Mordecai. Mordecai, 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 Mordecai.
Well, hold on a second. Are you saying we've never rewarded that fellow? What's his name?
Have you not been listening? Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Mordecai.
Mordecai. Haman! Haman!
What?
Nice nightshirt. Haman, what should be done for a man who has cleared a very high bar for the king?
Ooh, that has to be me. Well, Your Majesty, I suggest that you have Your Majesty's best horse brought from the barn. You dress the man in one of your very own fancy robes. You have one of your ministers parade him through the city while proclaiming, "This is what is done for a man whom the king wishes to honor."
That all sounds great. Go do that for Mordecai.
Mordecai, the Jew?
That's the one. Thanks so much for the idea.
Oh, no. Excuse me, excuse me.
Excuse me, Your Majesty.
What? Who's there?
It's me, Esther.
Oh, Esther, you are generally barred from being here unless I call you, but my goodness, you are lovely. Oh, well, what can I do for you? Anything you want is yours.
Well, I came to invite you to a feast with Haman.
Oh.
And I know that you enjoy Entenmann's multigrain cereal bars. And I just happen to have found a recipe for Entenmann's dreamy chocolate bars.
Dreamy chocolate bars for what?
For dessert.
Oh, well, in
For
that case,
dessert.
that sounds wonderful. I'll be there.
Wonderful.
Wow, those Entenmann's dreamy chocolate bars were the bomb. Oh, I'll come to your feast anytime, Esther. Now, let me put this down. Is there anything that I can do for you?
Well, now that you mention it, yes,
Okay.
I would really like not to be murdered.
What? What's that now? No one is murdering you. I won't allow it.
Well, that's not true.
What?
You issued an edict to kill me and all of my people.
Well, I have not.
Well, you were tricked. You were tricked, and I know that you didn't want to do it. And the person who tricked you is Haman! Yes, because he convinced you to kill the Jews, and I am a Jew, and they are my people.
Uh-oh, this doesn't look good for me.
Haman, this is not good for you.
Please, Your Majesty, reverse your decision.
Well, I can't. Once an edict is issued, that's it. But I'll issue a new one that says your people may defend themselves, and I'll get rid of Haman once and for all. Guards! Captain of the guard! Take him away.
Oh, thank you, Your Majesty. You are truly a good king.
And now we put the bar back in Baruch.
Feel free to join in.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, Mordecai rocks. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, Esther rocks. 9, 10, 11, 12, we all rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. All together, Baruch at 1 and 2. Bless Esther, our queen, who got us through. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock, rock, rock till all daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight. When the clock strikes 3, 4, and 5, who bless God, 'cause we're alive. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock, rock, rock till broad daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight. When the time hits 6, 7, and 8, Baruch Mordecai, we think he's great. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock, rock, rock till broad daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight. When the clock strikes 10, after 9 was in the taste, we walk the fine line. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock, rock, rock till broad daylight. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We got to 11, 12 at last. We write our future and remember our past. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock, rock, rock till broad daylight. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. All right.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. I hope that that was as much fun for you as it was for us. I hope you could understand the words.
Good job. Good
So,
job.
and
High
I
five.
hope that
High
maybe
five.
you were inspired that maybe next year you want to be a part of this madcap adventure because it's
job.
fun.
Good job.
All right. So here's what happens now. It is 7:52.
Good job.
At 8 o'clock, we are going to start our Megillah reading, which is in English and is also abbreviated. So take a few minutes if you would like to grab a custom cocktail or mocktail, which I invented on Thursday night. You may do that. If you would like to grab a hamantashen, you may do that. I'll just say about the cocktail slash mocktail that it consists of pomegranate molasses, honey, and rose water, which are all Persian flavors, seltzer for some lighthearted fizziness, and if you want to, you can add in some rye for a wry sense of humor, and then it's a cocktail. And then we put in some dates, two dates, which again are sort of a Persian-y kind of thing.
That's mine.
And they are infused with kedem grape juice for the secret Jew ingredient.
Thank you for
And
giving me
and
good
they have
cues.
little umbrellas because for the silliness. So it's now 7:53. See you right back here at 8 o'clock to start our Megillah reading. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. It was fun. Thanks for your help. See you next week. Wonderfully done, Ron. I don't know where you put it.
Okay, everybody, no posting on Facebook unless you get permission from the subject.
Yep, do we have permission from the subject?
Okay, everybody, as you come back in, you not only need groggers, but you also need a copy of the 5 scrolls. It looks like this, except it's smaller. I don't know. Angel is supposed to get them. They're subtly Thank you so much. All right, everybody. We are going to move to the second part, or the third part, or maybe the fourth part, or the fifth part of today's festivities, which is our Megillah reading. So we use the 5 Scrolls book, and Ruth begins on, well, we have blessings to do first, and so the blessings are on page 86. But before we do the blessings, I am going to tell you how this is going to go. First of all, I have been doing a lot today and over the last couple of weeks. And I'm not going to do all the heavy lifting here tonight. You are. So people are going to take turns reading, and you will see that we have here a very fine lectern with a large edition of the book and a lovely stand microphone for you to stand. You don't even have to stand like right here. You can stand like here, and it'll still work. And we have a throne. And the throne is for, if you want to be the next reader, come on up and sit in the throne. And then when the reader who is reading is finished, they will go away. This is actually also my directing style, for the Spiel. It's like, okay, you're in the next scene. Come on to the front. Come on to the front. And then they do the scene. I'm like, okay, your scene is over. Go away somewhere. And it's like that with the readers too. Go away somewhere, back to your seat when you're done reading, and the person in the throne will take your place and will continue. This book has notations in it for what to skip. So don't panic as you look in your book and you see that it does not skip things. Here's what else we do. I know you know what to do when you hear the name Haman. Well played, well played. But we also do things for other characters, just to keep things lively. So we like Mordecai, even though, well, never mind that. We like Mordecai. So when we hear the name Mordecai, we go, woohoo! And Esther, also known as Hadassah, which in English is Myrtle, so she's Queen Myrtle, which just sounds funny to me, and if you've been here in other years, you've heard me say that every single year, because I still think it's funny to have a queen named Myrtle. I don't know why. Moaning Myrtle? I don't know. Anyway, Myrtle the turtle. Yeah, see, you know. Anyway, so when we say Esther is very lovely. So when we hear the name Esther, we go, ah. Now, Achashverosh has a name that is a little bit of a challenging kind of name. And so when we hear Achashverosh, we can say Gesundheit. Or Nastarovia, or bless you, or whatever you might say when you hear a sound like Achashverosh. Thank you. And then there's Vashti. Vashti is only right at the beginning, but, you know, we admire her, and so we say, you go, girl, for Vashti. Did I forget anybody? That's all of them? I think that's all of them. Okay, I think that's all of them. Also, what? Yes? Do you have something to add, Ellen? Oh. They were chit-chatting, and so they missed what to do when we say Esther. Don't tell them. Yes, I'm sure they have no idea. They have no idea. They've never been here before. Okay, I gotta say these whistles, I don't know where they came from, but they are deafening. Deafening. Okay, so anything else? The only other thing is that this page, this book, has some pages that have no text on them. And so when we get to them, we often say, this page intentionally left blank. Unless that doesn't work for you. It sounded, that sort of thudded. Okay, never mind. Whatever, you'll do it if you want to. Okay. Let's see. So on page 86, down at the bottom, let's read the blessings before reading the scroll of Esther. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mikra Megillah. We praise you, O God, sovereign of existence, who has hallowed our lives with commandments and commanded us to read this scroll. And at the top of the next page, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavotenu ve'imotenu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh. We praise you, O God, sovereign of existence, who did miracles for our ancestors in those days as at this season. What other holiday do we say this blessing for, Jeremy Brown? Hanukkah! I knew you would know, and also you're dressed as Hanukkah. So, and then we come to the Shehechianu because we're so excited that we got to get to this day, and I can't tell you how excited I am to have gotten to this day and be done with this day and the Purim Spiel, and that the Purim Spiel went so well. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. We praise you, O God, sovereign of existence, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and enabled us to celebrate this festive day. And some of you will have heard this from me before if you were here earlier in the day, but I just want to say 2 words about the fact that we are in a really hard time right now in the world, and I'm going to say also as people who are affiliated with the Jewish people. It's a really hard time for a lot of us, and some of us are experiencing increased fear, increased sadness, increased anger, and a sense of alienation from people who we're used to having on our side. And all of that makes it really easy for us to say, how can we celebrate Purim at a time like this? How can we be silly and laugh at things and make jokes and experience joy, which is what we're supposed to do? I mean, we just did the blessing that you do when you're about to do a commandment, because as banana pants as what we're doing is, it's a commandment. That's what we're supposed to do. And so I'm just going to say that Jews have a grand tradition of making fun of what scares us. And for a little while, it can maybe take a little bit of the heaviness off of us. And that's something that we all need. We all need to like let a little of the pressure out of the valve, you know? And so that's what we're doing. And every single Jewish holiday, no matter what is going on in the world, mixes joy and pain. Everyone. Yes, Robert. Alexandra. Do you want to come up here and do it? Well, then they'll hear you on Zoom. So, Alexandra, if you would. Milady. Where are you going? Oh, okay.
Thank you. I just wanted to speak to the point you made about the mixture, about the mixing of fear and joy. So I took an Uber to get here, and as you may know, there's a little line that says, "Do you wish to say anything to your driver?" So I thought, okay, I'll make it easy on him. So I typed in, "I'm wearing a blue gown and a white wig. I'm standing in front of," I gave him the address, and then I thought I would say, "I'm going to a Purim party," and I censored myself. And instead I said, "I'm going to a costume party." So there was some fear and great joy that we're all together now. I just wanted to speak directly to it.
Thank you.
Happy Purim, may our joy increase.
Thank you. I think that's a wonderful illustration of the way that some of us are feeling our lives impacted in ways that we're not used to because of things that are happening in the world right now. And so I just wanted to say, like, if you're having a hard time, know that I'm having a hard time too. And, you know, but throwing ourselves into the joy of community and the ability to laugh at what scares us the most, that's a great power to have. And, you know, and so we do celebrate Purim, and we do reach for joy, and we do laugh, and we do, you know, drink responsibly. And, you know, we do all of these things. And so now that we've said the blessings, we know that our silliness is also holy, and we're going to proceed. So I hope that wasn't too much of a downer, but, and I actually didn't feel like that was that much of an elephant in the room, although I think it's an elephant in some rooms this year. Maybe not as much this room, but I wanted to acknowledge that, because for some of us, things are feeling really, really heavy right now. And so a little bit of lightness, you know, it isn't going to fix the world. It's maybe not going to fix us, but it's not going to hurt the world, you know? And so let's just enjoy ourselves as much as we can. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. So who wants to be reader number one? And I think you'll be able to tell from the Post-it notes. All right, I got a buyer. Sold American. Yes, but she's a veteran. She is a veteran of these things, and she was in the Spiel, and she worked very hard in the Spiel. Her costume is the best servant ever. And you know we dress up as what we're not for Purim. See, I'm helping you, Yvette. That's me helping you. Okay, so I think you'll be able to tell when to skip, and you've also done this before. Okay? So come on. Well, you start up here. Page, I think it's 91. It's 91.
Okay.
You don't have to be like, you don't have to, as much as I harangue you about having the microphone like right up to your mouth, with this one you don't have to.
Oh, you don't really, I see that.
Just stand where you are and it'll be good.
Now, it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, the same Ahasuerus, who reigned from India as far as Ethiopia, over 127 provinces, that in those days, when King
Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom in Shushan, the capital, in the 3rd year of his reign, that he gave a banquet for all of his officers and servants. Let's see, to design, and royal what? That doesn't make any sense, sorry. Servants of, Persia and Media, the noble.
Do you need a reading teacher?
Yes, I do. Where do I go then?
Wait, all his officers and servants?
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Say
Skip
that.
to verse 8.
Okay, and the drinking was according to the law. There was no compulsion. For the king had commanded all the officers of his house to do according to every man's pleasure. Queen Vashti also gave a banquet for the people in the royal house of King Ahasuerus. Okay, that's it. It says second reader.
And look, we have a reader in the throne. The throne is free. If you want to read, come sit in.
On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Bitzet, Harbona, Bigta, and Abakta, Zethar, and Carcass, the 7 eunuchs who attended King Ahasuerus, to bring Queen Vashti before the king, wearing the royal crown, to show her beauty to the people and nobles, for she was beautiful. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command, conveyed by the eunuchs. This enraged the king greatly, and his anger burned inside him. Then the king said to the sages who knew the times, for it was his royal custom to consult all who knew law and judgment, those closest to him being Karshena, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marcina, and Memucan, the 7 nobles of Persia and Media, who had access to the king and held first place in the kingdom. What law shall be applied to Queen Vashti, since she has not obeyed the command of King Ahasuerus, conveyed by his eunuchs? Then Memucan answered before the king and the nobles, Queen Vashti has not only done wrong to the king, but also to all the nobles and to all the people and all the provinces of King Ahasuerus. For this deed of the queen will be reported to all women. Their husbands will appear contemptible to them when they hear the news. King Ahasuerus ordered Queen Vashti,
you go, girl,
to be brought before him, and she did not come.
I would just like to say that this is so true, right? That the women, they go to the restroom together and then they come back and they have a revolution.
This very day, the ladies of Persia and Media, who had heard of the deed of the queen, will tell it to all the king's nobles. There will be a surfeit of contempt and anger. If this please,
that means extra contempt and anger. Too much. Surfeit, extra. They're very extra, these women.
If it please the king, let a royal command go out from him, and let it be written into the laws of the Persians.
Next page, intentionally left.
Blank. We are on page 99. And Medes, which no one can revoke, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal position to someone who is more worthy. And when this royal decree, which he will make, is heard throughout all his kingdom, which is great, all the wives shall give honor to their husbands, both high and low.
After these events, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus had subsided, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what had been decreed against her. The king's servants who attended him then said, "Let beautiful young virgins be sought out for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the beautiful young virgins to Shushan, the capital, to the house of the women, into the custody of Hegai, the king's eunuch in charge of the women, and let their ointments be given to them. And let the maiden who pleases the king be queen instead of Vashti." And the advice pleased the king, and he did so. Now in Shushan, the capital, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjaminite. He had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captives who had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah. Blank page. Whom King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon had carried away, and he brought up Hadassah, that is, Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother. The maid was fair and beautiful. When her father and mother died, Mordecai adopted her as his own daughter.
It came to pass when the king's command and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were brought together to Shushan the capital, into the custody of Hegai, that Esther was also brought to the king's house, into the custody of Hegai, keeper of the women. The girl pleased him, and she received kindness from him. He speedily gave her ointments and her potions and the 7 maidens chosen to be given to her from the king's house. And he moved her and her maidens into the best place of the house of the women. Esther had not revealed her people or her kindred, for Mordecai had told her not to reveal it. And we're skipping to verse 16 on page 107. Here. Okay. Esther was taken to King Ahasuerus into his royal house in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all other women, and she won more grace and favor with him than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king gave a great banquet for all his nobles and his servants, Esther's banquet. And he granted a remission of taxes to the provinces, and he gave gifts as befits a king. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, 2 of the king's eunuchs, Bigtan and Teresh, who guarded the door, became disaffected and tried to lay hands on King Ahasuerus. But the plot became known, blank page, to Mordecai, who revealed it to Queen Esther. And Esther told the king in Mordecai's name. The matter was investigated, and it was found to be true. They were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of the Chronicles in the presence of the king. This says Yvonne 1 through 7. I'm not sure what that means. Is that at the next reader? No.
I think that we can now read 1 to 7.
Okay. Do you want someone else to read it?
Yeah, let's go to the next reader.
Next reader.
Like what comes after this? Yeah, I'm not really sure, just read. We're on page 111.
After these things, Ahasuerus promoted Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and elevated him, and set his seat above all the nobles that were with him. And all the king's servants in the king's gate bowed and prostrated themselves before Haman. for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai would not bow down nor prostrate himself. Then the king's servants in the king's gate said to Mordecai, "Why do you transgress the king's command?" Now when they spoke to him daily and he did not listen to them, they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's conduct would prevail, for he had told them he was a Jew. When Haman saw that Mordecai would not bow down or prostrate himself, Haman was filled with rage, but he disdained to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had told him of Mordecai's people. So Haman sought to exterminate all the Jews throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, Mordecai, and all his people. In the first month, that is, the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast Pur, which means the lot, before Haman. From day to day and from month to month, to the 12th month, to the month Adar. Then Haman said to King Ahasuerus, this page intentionally left blank, "There is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of your kingdom, and their laws are different from every other people, nor do they keep the king's law. Therefore, is it not in the king's interest to tolerate them? It is not in the king's interest to tolerate them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those in charge of the business to bring it into the king's treasuries." Then the king took the ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. The king then said to Haman, "The silver is yours, and the people as well, to do with them as it pleases you."
The letters were sent by couriers to all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to exterminate all the Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, the 13th day of the 12th month, the month Adar, and to plunder their possessions. We're switching to page 119. Okay. When Mordecai learned all that had happened, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth and ashes. He went out into the midst of the city and cried out with a loud and bitter cry. He came within sight of the king's gate, for no one could enter the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province where the king's command and decree came, there was a great mourning among the Jews, and fasting and weeping and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. When Esther's maidens and eunuchs came and told her, the queen was exceedingly distressed. She sent garments to clothe Mordecai, so that he could take off his sackcloth, but he would not accept them. All right. Skip to verse 13 on 121. Then Mordecai commanded them to answer Esther, "Do not think in your heart that you, of all the Jews, will escape because you are in the king's house. For if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will come to the Jews from another place. But you and your father's house will be destroyed. And who knows whether you have not come into royal estate for such a time as this?" Then Esther bade them return this answer to Mordecai: "Go and gather all the Jews that are in Shushan, and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my maidens will also fast. Then I will go to the king, though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish." So Mordecai went his way and did just as Esther had commanded him. I'm kind of confused what this post-it says.
Is it confusing?
It is.
Oh yeah, it is confusing. Let's have the next reader. No, just start here.
And it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house, facing the king's house, while the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house, facing the entrance of the king's house. And when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, she obtained favor in his sight, and the king held out to blank page, so page 125. Held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. Then the king said to her, "What is your petition, Queen Esther? And what is your request? Even if it is half the kingdom, it will be given to you." And Esther answered, "If it please the king, let the king and Haman come today to the banquet which I have prepared for him." Then the king said, "Tell Haman to hurry to do as Esther has said." So the king and Haman came to the banquet which Esther had prepared. And the king said to Esther during the banquet of wine, "What is your petition, Queen Esther? What is your request? Even if it is half the kingdom, it will be done." Then Esther answered and said, "My petition and my request is, if I have obtained favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to fulfill my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet which I shall prepare for them, and I will do tomorrow as the king has said." Haman went out that day joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, and he did not stand up or even move for him, he was filled with rage against Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman restrained himself, and when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and for Zeresh, his wife. And Haman told them about the splendor of his wealth and about his many children, and all about how the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced him above the nobles and servants of the king. And Haman said, "Even Esther the queen, let no one come in with the king to the banquet that she had prepared except me. And tomorrow I am again invited by her together with the king. But all this means nothing to me as long as I see Mordecai, the Jew, sitting at the king's gate." Then, how do you pronounce it? Zeresh? Okay. Oh, okay. Then Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends said to him, "Let a gallows be made 50 cubits high, and speak to the king tomorrow that Mordecai can be hanged. Then go merrily with the king to the banquet." The proposal pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made. That night sleep fled from the king, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the Chronicles, and they were read before the king. And it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthana, and Teresh, two of the king's eunuchs, keepers of the door, who had tried to lay hands on King Ahasuerus. And the king said, "What honor and dignity had been bestowed upon Mordecai for this?" Then said the king's servants who ministered to him, "Nothing has been done for him." And the king said, "Who is in the court?" Now Haman had entered the outer court of the king's house to speak to the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows which he had prepared for him. So the king's servant said to him, "Behold, Haman is standing in the court. Let him enter," said the king. So Haman came in, and the king said to him, "What shall be done to the man whom the king delights to honor?" Now Haman thought in his heart, "Whom would the king delight to honor more than myself?" And Haman answered the king, "For the man whom the king delights to honor, let page 131. apparel be brought which the king has worn, and a horse which the king has ridden, with a royal crown set upon its head. And let this garment and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most exalted nobles, and let them clothe the man whom the king delights to honor, and bring him on horseback through the square of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall be done to the man whom the king delights to honor. Then the king said to Haman, make haste and take the apparel and the horse, as you have said, and do this to Mordecai, the Jew who sits at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that you have spoken. Haman then took the apparel and the horse and clothed Mordecai and brought him on horseback through the square of the city and proclaimed before him, thus shall be done to the man whom the king delights to honor. Then Mordecai returned to the king's gate, but Haman hastened him, mourning with his head covered. When Haman told his wife Zeresh and all his friends everything that had happened to him, his advisors and his wife Zeresh said to him, if Mordecai, before whom you have begun to fall, is of Jewish seed, you will not prevail against him, but you will surely fall before him. While they were still talking with him, the king's eunuchs came and hastened to bring Haman to the banquet which Esther had prepared. I know it's confusing. So the king and Haman came to feast with Queen Esther. Again, the king said to Esther, on the second day of the banquet of wine, what is your petition? Blank page. Queen Esther, it will be granted to you. What is your request? Even if it is half the kingdom, it will be done. Then Queen Esther answered and said, if I have found favor in your sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given to me at my petition, and my people at my request. For we are sold, and I and my people, to be exterminated, to be slain, and to perish. Yet had we only been sold for bondsmen and bondswomen, I would have remained silent, for the adversary would not have been worth disturbing the king. Then King Ahasuerus answered and said to Queen Esther, who is he and where is he who does presume in his heart to do so? And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen, and the king arose in his wrath from the banquet of wine and went into the palace garden. Haman stood up to plead for his life from Queen Esther, for he saw that evil was determined against him by the king. Then the king returned from the palace garden to the house of the wine banquet, and Haman had fallen upon the bed upon which Esther was. The king then said, will he violate the queen in my presence here in the house? As the words left the mouth of the king, they covered Haman's face. Harbonah, one of the eunuchs, said before the king, see also in Haman's house the gallows 50 feet high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who spoke for the good of the king. Hang him on it, said the king. So they hanged Haman on the gallows which he prepared for Mordecai, and the king's wrath abated. Okay.
I don't know why there were no breaks in there.
All right.
Okay, so we're on page 137, the beginning of chapter 8.
Yeah. On that day, King Ahasuerus gave the house of Haman, the Jews' adversary, to Queen Esther. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had revealed what he was to her. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. And Esther spoke again before the king and fell down at his feet. She wept and implored him to avert the evil plan of Haman the Agagite and the device which he had planned against the Jews. Then the king held out the golden scepter to Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king, and she said, "If it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the proposal seems right to the king, and I am pleasing in his sight, let it be written to recall the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews who are in all the king's provinces. For how can I endure to see the evil which will come upon my people? And how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred?" Then King Ahasuerus said to Queen Esther and to Mordecai the Jew, "I have given Haman's house to Esther, and he has been hanged on the gallows because he laid his hands upon the Jews. You may further write with regard to the Jews as you like in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For an edict which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's ring may not be recalled." To verse 15. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of purple, blue, and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a robe of fine linen and purple wool. And the city of Shushan shouted and was glad. The Jews had light and gladness, joy and honor. And in every province and in every city, wherever the king's command and decree came, there was joy and gladness for the Jews, a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them. Another reader? To verse 1, page 147.
Page 147. Okay, so yeah, well, let's have one more reader. You need your fancy reading gloves? Excellent.
Hold on. Where are we?
So we are on page 147, starting with verse 20, and we're going to go right down to the end.
Then Mordecai wrote down these things
Woo!
and sent letters to all the Jews throughout the provinces of King Ahasuerus,
Gesundheit.
near and far, charging them to observe the 14th and 15th days of Adar every year as the days on which the Jews had rest from their enemies, and the month which was changed for them from sorrow to joy and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions to one another and gifts to the poor.
That's the end. Woo! Okay, if you heard that story one time today, raise your hand. Only one time. If you heard that story only 2 times today, raise your hand. Zoom counts. If you heard that story only 3 times today, raise your hand. And if you heard that story 4 times today, yeah, because the kids did a play this morning, then we had the family Megillah reading, then we had the play that I wrote after Yvette's idea, and now we just had another Megillah reading. So 4 times today. Yes. What, Bob? Oh, well, then there was also the rehearsal, so some people had 5. Okay. Oh, Dayenu indeed. Dayenu. All right, so the blessing following the reading is on page 87, and it's like the bottom half of the page. I'm giving you a second to get there. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, harav et rivenu, v'hadan et dinenu, v'hanokem et nikmatenu, v'hamishalem gemul lechol oivei nafshenu, v'hanifra lanu mitzarenu. Baruch atah Adonai hanifra le'amo Yisrael mikol tzorehem ha'el ha'moshiach. We praise you, O God, sovereign of existence, who pleads the cause of our justice, God of righteous judgment, who enables us to survive the vicious onslaught of the destroyer, God of deliverance. Woo! And I just want to say that the word for enemy in Hebrew is oyev, and the word for enemies, plural in Hebrew, is oive. I'm just putting that out there into the universe. So the next time you say oive, you're like, enemies. So, like you say, right, like you say, oy vey, like I dropped a dish. Oy vey, gravity is my enemy. All right, so thank you everybody for coming. I know there's lots more Hamantaschen. There's maybe more mocktail and cocktail. If you're driving, go with mocktail. If you're not, feel free to cocktail. And thanks. Yay! Thank you to all of our performers, all of our readers. Thank you for sticking it out until now. I mean, it's not so long. And Freeman's like, yeah. All right, we're done. Oh, should we have announcements? What? Oh, tomorrow, yeah, drumming with Kyle. What time? 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
Good night, Zoomies.
Night.
Chag Sameach. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Wonderful.